How y'all doing, y'all? You good? Thank you for having us here. My name is Rocha. This is my project, the Rocha Collective. We're gonna play a few of my songs, and then we're gonna share some knowledge and talk about some really cool stuff, okay? Let's do start on the line, okay? Just groove it. Thank you, y'all. I was I was ready to play a few more of my songs, but we ended up overplaying. We get too excited with improvs and all this stuff, so we let's go straight to talk about music for a little bit, okay? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah. What do I do with this? Put it on my shirt, inside or out? Oh, okay. That's too much technology for me. Like this? All right. Let me get my notes, y'all. Thank you, brother. This MI team here is pretty awesome. Let me start saying thank you so much to the MI for having me and the Donner uh, family with the guitars and pedals. I'm going to talk about the products a little later. Um, I'm happy, really happy to be here to share a little bit of what I've been studying, practicing, and especially experienced on the streets. in LA and all over the world with tours and back the day in Brazil. Being here, you guys have access to some of the best teachers and producers and everything you can think of the Musicians Institute have. So I'm not gonna focus a lot on the stuff you guys can have easy access here. I'm gonna try to focus on how effectively use what you guys are learning here on the streets, because being a professional musician around town, playing with professional musicians like these guys here, it's very easy for us to see when there's somebody who is fresh out of school playing with us. That's a feeling that we have naturally. We look at each other. He or she is probably fresh out of school, because there's some patterns that we can recognize that most of the time somebody who is a fresh student or somebody who is in a music school right now have. And I'm not saying that every single one have, the majority of them have. So I think what I'm going to try to do today is talk to you guys about ways to improve yourself, to whenever you are playing with professional musicians. Who here is a professional musician? Okay, so when you're playing with professional musicians, you can adapt and hang with them properly. And most of the time, that's way less related to the amount of skills you have, because today with the amount of information that you can get on the internet, on your school, you guys are probably all super talented already. And those patterns are more related to experience, to being on the streets playing all kinds of music. And we call that street credits. A lot of people who never been into, some of our musicians, Kimbo, you never been to music school, or have you? Yeah, you been? Okay, my bad. He has so much street credits that I'm like, this guy knows way too much. So not necessarily street credits is the most important thing. I usually say the perfect scenario is get your knowledge, everything that you are learning, and apply on the streets. Because when you combine both, that's the perfect scenario. You have the knowledge to explain, but you also have what we call the flow. You can play with anybody. You can adapt to any situation. And that's what I'm going to try to address today. How many of you are beginners? Let's see, beginners, musicians. You can raise your hand. Yeah, it's okay. We all were beginners once. Yeah. Honestly, sometimes when I play with some musicians, I feel like a beginner, depending on the musician I'm playing with. I feel like this is completely out of my league. I feel that till this day. Intermediate level, advanced. Oh, okay. Everybody's been doing their stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to try to be as slow as, sometimes I talk too fast so everybody can understand everything I'm trying to say, okay? Especially because of my adorable accent too. Don't laugh, that's true. Yeah. I think one of the first things we need to recognize, which took me way too long, and the earlier you guys can recognize is going to help you guys, is like, what's your purpose with this? I want to be an artist. I want to be a sideman. I want to be now we have the social media musician. I want to be a social media. I want to be a professor. The earlier you can recognize that, the better you can make a route, a path to get to that place. Okay. What I'm going to talk today is going to be more related to people who are trying to become artists or play for artists, be a sideman, what we call a sideman, okay? And this is based on, I started playing when I was 12 years old, so I've been in this journey for a long time. I've been around for a while. And I went to 2 music schools, and recognizing that these patterns is what make me, when I moved to LA 8 years ago, adapt. Because as a foreigner, who is a foreigner here? No foreigners, everybody's from America. Okay, foreigners. We know how difficult it is to break into that LA American bubble. it's hard. It's hard because you're not from here. You're not used to listening to the music from here. So there's many variables. But one thing that's gonna help you guys for sure is knowledge, because through knowledge you can recognize the patterns on the way they play from America. With that, you can exercise those patterns and figure out how to put your 10 cents on on their music. That was the most important thing for me. I started playing at churches in LA, gospel churches, right when I moved here. And I was very, very blessed that one of my the bass player playing with me, he had a degree in African American history. And he started to teach me why they play the way they play. But he didn't have the music knowledge I had. So he was trying to explain to me in his own way, and I was making charts of everything. Oh, this is how they play this, transcribing everything. That's how they. After that, I played in all these big churches in LA with some of the greatest gospel musicians. But because of the knowledge I have from music school, helped me trace those patterns. So don't let me try not to miscommunicate. The street credits is important, but that knowledge is very important too, okay? First, one of the things I want to talk to you guys is something that's very little to none talked about in music schools, is the fact that you, as a guitar player, you need to know how to be a rhythm guitar player too. A lot of guitar players, they focus on the solos, and you can learn solos everywhere. Go to YouTube, how to play that solo. Look at it, practice for like days, and then you're gonna nail. The feeling of the rhythm guitar, that's a completely different thing. That's a thing that you gotta, I'm saying already, it's a feel. It's a feeling, and every person has one. There's many of the badass guitar players in the world. Can I say badass? Yeah, I don't want to get canceled. I said twice already. Well, so the best guitar players we know, sidemans, they are masters on playing rhythm guitar. They're masters on playing rhythm guitar, which is awesome. And each one of them have their own style, so you guys have to figure that out. As an example, today I usually, the songs I played are my songs, and I usually have a keyboard player playing with me. When I have a keyboard player playing with me, I play in a completely different way. Because I don't have that guy, I need to be the main guy working on the harmonies. Why is this so uncomfortable? Okay. I have to work on the harmonies. At the same time, I give space to the trumpet player to solo, the bass player to lay the foundation, and the drummer to hit that groove for me. So one of the easiest ways to recognize this is listen. Listen what everybody is doing. That's the most fundamental thing for me in music, for playing with your friends, with pro musicians, is listen. Most of the time, when you grab the guitar, I know that song, your first eager is like, let me show everything I have. And that's when we make the biggest mistake. You don't show everything you have. You listen to everybody, and then you're trying to find that sweet spot where your groove is gonna pop. Because it's not just about creating a groove, it's creating parts. So, for example, Kimball, I'm sorry, guys. Let me introduce you to these guys. Kimball Gillespie on drums, Michael Shiono on bass, and Enrique Sunshine on trumpet. You guys can clap your hands for these guys, because these are some of the best musicians in the world. And they are my good friends and family. Kimball, can you give me any groove like... So when Kimbo's laying that foundation, for me, the first thing I do is I try to feel the groove. I'm one of those guys who dance on stage when I'm playing, okay? So then, Mike, give me any key, any groove, and just stay in one chord. 1, 2, 3. You can be a little bit more busy, Mike. So now we have a foundation. We have the bass and the drums Bring it down. And they are locked. You can literally hear what they're doing, okay? Feel what they're doing. So the first thing I try to do is I try to recognize where are we going through with this music, okay? Let's say there's no keyboard player. So my job usually is make you guys understand what key we're playing and the intention of that. So he's playing a straight G, okay? But because of the way he's playing that minor third, okay, I assume that we're gonna give a dominant feel. So I go straight on 3. I already laid the intention for you guys, so we know where we're going, okay? Let's bring that groove up in. So I'll bring more. Bring it down. So if you guys notice, what I did was I give you guys the intention of the chord. At the same time, I created a groove pattern, because music is about patterns. Create that pattern that makes people, I want to copy that groove. And all I did was space for the bass. Boom, boom, boom. Little feel on it. Okay. Thank you, Kimo. Thank you, Mike. So the first thing we do is like we recognize what's being played, we listen, and then we try to find our spot. If I had a keyboard player here with me and that guy was laying the foundation, it's unnecessary for me right now to try to lay you guys this chord, because there's already somebody doing that, so I can come up with something completely different that is going to contribute to that groove. In that case, I will probably do something like, let's do same groove. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's break it. And all I did, do I need to talk about the chords I'm playing, or you guys can recognize everything? Because once everybody hears in advance, you guys can say, everybody's understanding the chords I'm playing? Yeah? Everybody cool? Kind of? Yeah? I don't know what chord it is. You did? Okay, so once we're playing a dominant chord, the first thing I do is think about this chord as a mixolydian chord. And who here is familiar with the Greek modes? Everybody, right? How about you, brother? You good? Okay. So once I recognize that, thinking about a mixolydian chord, there's a level of extensions I can use for that chord. In that situation, he's playing a G. Thinking this chord is chord we're playing is a mixolydian chord. We understand that we have a major third and a dominant 7. These two are the primary notes on this chord, okay? I can make a whole groove just out of these two notes, okay? Let's play 1, 2, 3, oh. Break it here. So once you establish the third and the 7th, we know if that chord is major or minor through the third, and if it's a dominant, a Ionian, or Lydian chord. That's all I did right here. And I use a little extension right here. I play a 13 of that chord. And I just kept grooving on it. And a little trick that I usually use on these kind of grooves, I put a sharp 9 on it. The sharp 9 is the same note of the minor third. But we call sharp 9 because that chord mandatorily has a major third. So if the chord has a major third and a minor third above, that note is a sharp 9. And it's this chord right here. So third, third, sharp 9. Okay? So what the sharp 9 is very, like all pop funk bands, they use the sharp 9 to add some groove to it. So all I did was okay? This was an easy one. But the most important thing for you guys to understand is the concept, because sharp 9s, sharp 11s, 13s, this is all knowledge you guys can get here easily like this. If you guys ask me, we're going to open for some questions, and then I can explain the whole thing. But let's focus on the idea, on the patterns. Listen to the music, trying to fit yourself on those chords. Okay. So this is what I would do to approach a groove. And there's many styles of groove. There's the mute guitar, which is like you can create really cool melodies with, or you can just stay on the pocket. I'm gonna give you guys a quick example. Let's do the same groove. 1, 2, more on the pocket. And space. I'm gonna be a little bit more busy now. That's it, thank you. So if you start to study and recognize the way you can literally play rhythm guitar, like there's an infinite amount of ways that you can play this, because it's gonna be more related to you than to me. You got to figure out your style, the way that your chops are going to work more. For example, one of my favorite rhythm guitar players, Paul Jackson Jr. And all he does, he uses doubles to make everything pretty. Let's do a groove. We're playing C. We're going to do a 1, 6, 2, and a 5, okay? 6 and 2 and a 5 and 1 and 2. Paul Jackson. So his own way created a whole genre for guitar players to play. So once we focus on those things and attack those notes based on our knowledge, because I understand that Paul Jackson loves playing 1 and thirds back to major 7s and 9s. So 1 and third, major 7 and 9. So I know when I move here, I can do the same thing. When I move here, I can do the same thing. When I move here, I can do the same thing. So all we need to do is recognize with the knowledge you guys have, what they're doing, transcribe, and apply. With that, you're going to create and focus on that rhythm guitar, which is so important, okay? Which takes me to the next topic, which is how to use everybody knows the Greek modes, but how are we going to use those Greek modes in a smart way? How to apply those Greek modes. It's not just play, oh, but now this is a mixolydian. That's not, we know those things. How can we apply this whole mixolydian, leading, Ionian in a smart way? We go back to listen. I don't know if you guys noticed when Enrique was playing, he alternated between the modes. And me, as a guitar player listening to it, I was always trying to do my best to follow him. that listening to the chords and scales is the key for me, because once you start to recognize the sound of these intervals and these chords, you can apply the chords and scales from those modes. For example, if we play a song in D minor, the first thing that comes to our mind, at least when I start playing, was like I'm playing the Aeolian or F major. So, okay, but that scale, I call it's imperfect because there's one note that you should avoid. Okay, when we play a scale of F, on that scale? What's the note that we should avoid? The fourth, right? If somebody's playing this chord, and I land right here, I should avoid this one, okay? So based on that, the scale that you could easily play and you don't have to avoid anything will be the Lydian scale, because then you have that sharp 11 right there. And that's the trick of the most, like the Dorian and the Lydian scale are the foundation for everybody who is starting to play jazz and instrumental music. Let's do a groove, a straight ahead in D minor. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We play minor, so we move between 7 and 6. Dominant 7, 6. Sounds very familiar, right? Enrique, can you play something D minor for me? You guys see, with basic understanding of the Greek modes, you can upgrade your improvising by a lot. And all we do is learning the Greek modes, and most important, learning the chords that go with that mode. If we play in D minor, fundamentally all we're gonna have is D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, okay, A minor, B, A minor 7, B half diminished, and C major 7, which lands right on that 6 of that chord. Once you know these triads and tetrads, you can apply and literally just play triads and tetrads to create all those melodies. Let's go to the same groove in 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3. Check this out. D minor, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B half diminished, and our C major 7. It's just a bunch of triads. So thank you, y'all. Once we understand the Greek modes and the chords that go with it, it's easy to apply, and you can apply in every song, any instrumental song. One of my songs I was playing, I just focus on try to use those triads and figure out which one of those triads make me feel the way I want to feel in that moment. Because by the end of the day, the focus we should have is not how to express the amount of knowledge you have, is to create music. Our focus should always be to make music. I saw a Herbie Hancock masterclass. He was like, people always ask me how to play outside. Sometimes I just play the same line in completely different keys. That's it. I don't overthink. I know where I go. That makes me feel good. Let's play that groove in 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, and so the line in D minor. He does that all the time. He just played the same line in random arpeggios, but he always know how to start and how to end. You start in a point, you have your target, you do whatever you want, and you land somewhere. I'm thinking about this chord. To E, A, out. So let's use those Greek modes. Again, one more time. We all familiar with the Greek modes, right? Cool. So let's use those Greek modes in a smart way. You learn and then you don't overplay it like. That's just an exercise. We call this in Brazil monkey job. Monkey see, monkey do. Up and down, up and down. No, try to create melodies with those triads. Learn the triads and try to create melodies with it, okay? Let me see. Okay, another thing that I see a lot of guitar players coming fresh out of music school is in making that, I don't call a mistake per se, but it's like a clear for me a lack on the game. It's like, not understanding how to do the basic chords in one place of the guitar. That's basic things that we all should know. If we talk about all the chords of the key of C, so we have C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, and B half diminished or minor flat 5, okay? So I had to move my hand all the way here when I should do is so one thing that is fundamental for you to create melodies in line, it's know where to land with a chord too, because you need to know the chord you're playing. A lot of times we go out and we play by instinct. So somebody's playing the groove. I'm go pentatonic. How about we know the chord that is being played? Oh, that's a minor 9. You're already ahead of the game. Okay? So one of the things that I will highly advise you guys is practice the chords all in one spot. If I move here, okay, if I move here, one more time here, and the last one. I did all the chords of that scale and I didn't have to move my hands up and down. And why is that? It's going to improve your game a lot. Because when you're soloing, I love listening to piano players because it's not just an up and down of scale and triads. They play a melody, they play a chord. They play 3 great melodies, they play a chord. So it's something that we, guitar players, we should exercise. Because every instrument, but usually guitar and bass, they practice scale like this. Or 2 octaves. Okay? What we do, we practice by shapes most of the time, right? Shape 1, shape 2. And in my opinion, we should practice like all the other instruments practice, because you have an easier visualization of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right there. So, and then you can create those melodies based on that visualization. So let focus also on practicing and try to create a melody right there. Right there in the same octave. You're just creating a nice melody without having to go up and down with your scale. Okay? So, serious advice, practice all the chords in one place. And again, this is probably knowledge that you guys can easily ask for anybody here if you guys don't have, okay? Let me see my time. Okay, I still have a little bit of time. Now I want to talk to you guys how we approach playing. Now we know all those chords. How are we going to approach those chords? Playing with a band. We talk about the groove, but what about the chords? How are we going to approach those chords, okay? So one thing is like recognize, I don't have a keyboard player today. Again, as I said, I'm going to be a little bit more full with my chords. But I still got to get out of the way of the bass. The frequency of the bass and the lowest strings can somebody be messed up. So let's get completely out of that extension right there. And because we know all the chords all the way here, we already practiced that. It's easier for us to try to understand that, okay? So one of the things that I love that keyboard players do is they move into the intervals. For example, they are playing a C right here. Stay on that C, but they create those little melodies that help improve the song. They don't play like they sit and play that chord. They play, no, they are playing, they're moving. And that helps improve that groove. Let's play a groove in C. And 1, 2, and 3. Hey. Keep playing the groove and bring it down. So all I did was I used 2 substitutions right here on that Greek mode situation I was talking to you guys about. I pick a C major, and I'm using the C major as a leading chord. So a leading chord has G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D7, E major, and F sharp half diminished. So I alternate between the C major and the D7. Check this again. G major, still on that leading, playing that G major. E minor, playing an E minor over his C, C, D7. Now check the F sharp half diminish, how it's gonna sound pretty. So all that we do with those extension of chords, it's having interval extensions for our chord, the primary chord. When I play a C major 7 here and I play a D7, automatically it gives me a sharp 11 that I really like, I personally really like. Gives me a sharp 11 and it gives me a 6. When I play an E minor, it gives me a major 7 and a 9 over that. So all those, the substitutions of those chords are just giving you nice extensions of the primary chord you're trying to use. And that's why it's so important for us to know the Greek modes, how to use it correctly as chords and as melodies, and how to apply in a band situation, how to recognize which mode I want to use. Because it's not just about Dorian and Aeolians. We have one of my favorite ones is to use is the Phrygian over the second note of the scale. So, for example, we play a C. Let's play that groove. 1, C, 2, 3, and so C major, D minor. Back to C major. Now I'm gonna play C major. That D minor I'm gonna think as Phrygian. C, Phrygian. It makes immediately super pretty. And down. Recognizing those chords and those modes is one of the most important things, especially because that's going to help you to be on the streets. A lot of times when you're playing with someone, you're going to jump in a jam session. Everybody loves to be in a jam session. The problem is, most of the times, we don't know how to perform in a jam session. I host once a month one of the biggest jam sessions they have here in LA. And it's crazy the amount of people, super talented people, famous on Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff. They jump there and they don't know how to behave playing-wise on that jam session. Because again, I understand the pattern, which is you are in a jam session, you basically have one song to show everybody what you're worth it for. Like what's your skill, how skilled you are. You have basically one song. So you throw everything you have there. The problem is every pro musician in there is not going to see, oh, here's a skill. They're going to see, oh, that's very immature. Because being good, being skilled is just, it's mandatory. It's your obligation. Go home and practice your stuff. That's obligation. What they want, pro musicians want to see is like how you apply the knowledge you have. How much space you leave for everybody to play. How much you understand what everybody's playing. So if they play a groove, I don't have, anybody here has perfect pitch? I don't have. You have, Enrique? No? I don't have. Mike kind of has perfect pitch, so I don't have it. So what I usually do when, let's play a groove, and Mike, give me a groove in any key, okay? 1, 2, 3, Kimball. So I honestly don't know the key they're playing, okay? I honestly do. So the first thing Chiclo I do is like I try to find a note that's similar to whatever he's playing. Because you like always just half step from a right note. Honestly, half step. That's all you need, okay? If I hit the wrong note, let's say. I try to recognize. I kind of find it. And because I've been playing and listening to those patterns a lot, this is usually a 1 to flat 7. Okay? So I know it's a G, and I know it's a dominant chord that he's playing. We already talked about this. We go straight into mixolydian because we know that one works. Let's focus on 3rd and 7. Check this out. I'm jamming. I'm not soloing all over nobody. I listen to them. Stay on that groove. Another thing we don't focus very often, dynamic. Listen to the volume that everybody is playing and don't overplay over them. Use your ears. I'm not gonna come here. Look at the disparity, like it makes no sense. You stop, you try to figure out the groove. So this is a real cool cheat code for you guys. Listen, recognize the chord, find the spaces on the groove, and play. And again, if I have a keyboard player, I'm playing in a completely different way because I want to get out of, they're usually playing. I don't need to play that anymore. I need to contribute with that groove. Thank you, y'all. So all we got to do is try to recognize on those, because those jam sessions are going to be important for you guys leaving school. When I moved here, I went to all of them. All of them. And those places helped me to be in a position I am right now, because I met musicians there who say, hey, I like your playing, give me your number. I have a gig for you. And all it takes is one gig. All it takes is one gig that the right person sees you. That's all it takes, I promise you. I was, I didn't have any gigs, I didn't have any jobs in LA, and then one day I got one church gig that I found on Facebook. True story. That guy saw me, hired me for a recording session. From there, I started to record a bunch of major artists for that label. Then I found another gig on Facebook, went to Vegas, played that gig. I was subbing for the main guitar player for Ricky Martin at that time. We became friends. He came to see the show and me playing. He was like, oh, I like what I see. A while after, he called me and said, hey, I already saw you playing. They want to handle some auditions, but I already told them that you're the guy. I sent them your videos, and they want to hire you. So I was like, it takes one person to see you. So that's how important for us to keep calm when we go to jam sessions. You jump in a jam session, I bet you that if you don't play a solo, but you know how to put yourself in that situation, all the pro musicians are going to say, that's the man right there. Everybody's overplaying. He was just listening to it. He was just listening. I was playing on a bar in a corporate gig with Enrique when the great Andrew Goucher, the godfather of gospel music, saw me playing. He was like, I want you to come and play with me. Last year we played at the Hollywood Ball for the LA Jazz Festival, because he saw me playing in a small bar in Hollywood, and that's how LA happens. So especially on jam sessions, when you sit in with somebody, try to use your knowledge with maturity. That's the most important thing for us, because all the pros are going to know. They're all going to know. Okay? Let me see what else I have for you guys here. Nice. One thing that I have to tell you guys that have changed my life was learn how to play a second instrument. That's going to change your life, because it's going to show you, as that different instrument that you're playing, how much space you need from the guitar player. We are known for being loud. We want to solo all the time, and we don't know harmony. They even have a joke: if you want to make a guitar player more quiet, just put a chart in front of him, right? And then we all going to be quiet. Yeah, that's true. That happens most of the time. So not just learning harmony with the melody, but learn another instrument. It's going to increase your playing a lot. I myself, I started my life as a musician, as a piano player. I don't play piano no more, but I play a little bit, and that helped me so much, because it always led me to say, I want to learn melodies, but I need to learn harmony too, because I like the fact that we can get a simple song and understand where the harmony is going. And it helps you write your own music too. Because, and all I did right here is the thing we've been talking about, the Greek modes, the substitutions on the Greek modes. Same thing, just be tasteful about it to apply on it, okay? That's all we have to do with those modes. Practice them, practice the chords, understand the chords in one space of the neck, and try to be tasteful with the first thing we were talking about the rhythm guitar. That's the fundamental thing. And that helps me on next topic, which is being a sideman in this town, playing for major artists. So when you playing for a major artist, you are a piece of a puzzle. You're not the most important piece. The most important piece is the artist. But you are a piece of the puzzle. If you're not there, that puzzle is incomplete. Therefore, it's worthless. So you have a very important part to play. But there's ways to play that part. The first tip I got when I moved to LA, after already being playing with like major artists in Brazil, was 3 rules. Learn the music, show up on time, don't complain. Learn the music, show up on time, and don't complain. The amount of musicians who are fired from gigs because even though they're super talented, they don't learn the music, and they always show up late, and they complain. It's crazy. I know a bunch of our favorite musicians fired from the best gigs because by the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you think you are. You're working for someone. If you accepted that, you need to accept your role. Your role is to learn the music, show up on time, don't complain, get in and get out. That's all you have to do. Practice the music, understand the music, understand the kind of instrument you need to bring. Like a basic understanding of your instrument can take you a long way. That's a fact. Understanding how to apply your instrument in a specific gig. An example is like, we have a Stratocaster here, and one of the first things I do when I get a Strat like this is trying to figure out the tones of it. Because they all sound so different, even being Strats, okay? So I know what kind of sound I need to use for a specific kind of music. For example, I will use this guy right here if I had to play a nice arpeggio of a chord like. Check the difference. It doesn't cut that well. Therefore, right there, it's already a massive difference. But at the same time, I cannot use this guy. I'm using the bridge guy, okay? I can use bridge to do. If I go to the neck, much better. If I'm gonna use more like a mute kind of guitar, it's all right, but it's not cutting that well. But if I do the second to last on the bridge, understanding those little things can also make a huge difference because you may be playing the right thing with the wrong tone. And all the massive gigs, the big gigs, they require someone who knows to understand about sound designing and design their music because somebody already wrote those songs. When I got the Christina Aguilera gig, I had the pleasure to work with one of the biggest music directors in the world, Rob Lewis. And Rob I was playing after a guy called Fish. Fish is a music legend. He used to play guitar for Prince. So he always told me, focus on the sound designing of it. Those records are already written. And those are like award-winning records. So don't come here and put your stuff on the record. Play the record. Playing the record also takes you a long way. Just play the record first. We all try to, I learned this, I learned that, I want to apply. No, play the record first. You're going to see all over town, everybody overplaying over simple songs. And, right? Am I right? Like there's a very simple song that requires just maturity and precision. And you know what they do? They overplay. They play all over the song. That happens very often with singers, actually. Singers don't. I understand putting your 2 cents on the music, but like you're not going to quote the melody of the song once. Play the song. You're playing the song. Play the song once. Show me the song. I may never heard this song, so I want to hear that. Or I love the song and I want to hear the melody. So learn the parts and transcribing. Focus on the sound designing of it. Sometimes it's not a Stratocaster song, it's a Les Paul song, it's a hollow body song. That's important for you because the artist knows, the music director knows. They know what they need to listen. And sometimes they don't know the technicality. Another thing that Rob told me that kind of changed my life was, play me something I don't know I need. Play me something I don't know I need. That was one of the craziest things for me because I was always trying to, like, it was my first big American gig. I was like, I want to impress him. I want to play exactly what is in there. I want to play exactly what he was like, you already here. Play me something I don't know I need. That's when I start to develop my own sound also. Because I figured out that in this town, you having your own sound, you need to know how to put yourself in all situations, of course. You need to do that. Oh, I'm going to copy this person. This is a record. I got to copy that record. But when you have also your own identity, that takes you a long way because they're going to start hiring you because of who you are. A lot of people are not going to hire you because they may not like you, but that's who we are as people. I play who I am. So if you like me, you like my sound, you're going to call me because nobody does me better than me. So that's one of the keys. So I get calls for some pretty crazy gigs that I was like, what, I don't know what I'm doing here because they needed somebody like me. And some gigs that I say, I should have got that call. I don't get because they were looking for somebody with a different sound, a different everything. And that's okay. You need to make the pieces with, make your pieces with that. Make your peace. It's peace, right? Peace with that. Assassinating the English language. 101. So make your peace with it. Understand who you are. Work really hard on what comes easy. It's not working hard. It's working really hard on whatever comes easy. Understand your target, where you're going. The first thing I said was, let's understand where you're going. I want to be a professor. There's a bunch of things that you need to know. I want to be an artist. This is what you need to know. I want to play for people. And nothing is stopping you to do all of those things. You're just going to have to work a little harder because you need to do everything with excellence. Okay? Let me see my time. I'm not trying to overstep with the time here. Okay. So now we've been talking about the Greek modes and all the different ways to apply that. And I'm going to give you a little example of a basic song. We're going to play the Hurry Up. A basic song that I have that usually when it's time to improvise, I hold that song in one chord. So it's a E7 chord, song. So the first thing that comes to our mind is, a Mixolydian scale, right? So which means A major. Okay, so what I'm going to try to exemplify is different ways that you can use the Greek modes and your substitutions to make that sound a little bit more interesting, okay? Let's play one route of the song only, and then we bring it down for me to do a little solo, okay? 2, 3. Check it out. first thing we go, I usually go. Remember we were talking about, thank you y'all. We're talking about a dominant chord, and one of my favorite things to do is go to that sharp 9. So by default, when you play a pentatonic minor scale over that E, you're playing that sharp 9. So usually when I start with it. Okay. That's the sharp 9 that we want. Once we think about this chord as a minor, another thing we can do right there is think about this chord as a Dorian. Therefore, we can use the D major 7 arpeggio to make everything more interesting. You're already out of the... You out of it. D major 7 arpeggio. How easy that is. Easy, right? Another, once again, we're thinking about that E minor, F sharp minor. Bring the groove a little more. 1, 2. D major 7, E minor, F sharp. See how cool that is? Also, when we think about E minor, Dorian. So we have C sharp half diminished. That one sounds super cool. Very, very simple and easy to apply. G major 7. A7. All arpeggios for us to get out of that pentatonic world. B minor. Smart use to the Greek modes. Always have that blues. He heard me doing, and he immediately listen to what your partner is playing. Herbie's tip. Same line, just moving a step and a half. Relaxation, tension, and relax again. Relax. Tension, back. 3 and out. So you don't need to write complicated stuff. if you just want to connect with people, you can be simple without being simplistic. You can use those quick tricks, let's call it tricks, to just make yourself sound way more fancy than we actually are. Just the substitutions of the chords, of the modes, already make a huge difference. Already make a huge difference on your application for those things. Another thing that's very important for us is like, we are, as musicians, we are usually overall complaining about the fact that there's no good music out. Like, there's no good music, there's no good, but who defines what good music is? Like, why you, because you went to music school, it's your choice. You define what good music is. That's not how this works. Music's subjective, therefore, there's no good music. There's your preference for music. It's our job as artists to put out more and more music to make people interested on the kind of music we love. Oh, I like music with, I like R&B or lo-fi. Start to write music right now, because the first songs you're going to write are going to be terrible. That's how it works for all of us. The first songs we write, they're not great. But the earlier you start, the faster you're going to get better. Like, by the time you're out of school, you wrote, like, I don't know, 50 songs. And I guarantee you're going to be better at that moment. You know? And again, all those things, you can say like, well, but I won't be able to apply all the, yes, you are. You can apply all those things. One of the biggest examples of smart use of all those things we talk about right here is Stevie Wonder. Stevie is my favorite artist. And a quick example, he has a song called You Are the Sunshine of My Life. You guys heard that song? You are the sunshine of my life. On that song, in the beginning of the song, he blows your mind with the understanding of those substitutions. First, he starts the song playing a C. He starts the song playing C. And then he plays a whole note scale block with chords. That's what he does. This is brilliant, but everybody loves, because he figured out a way to make that tasteful. And then he starts the song with, you are the sunshine, that sharp level we were talking about, of my life. And then he plays a E minor, which is a Frisian chord in that key of C. He plays as a Dorian, right here. He has a 9 on that chord. So if he has a major 9, it's either a Dorian or Aeolian, a minor chord, okay? So he does, you are the sunshine of my life, and he stops right here. And this is one of the smartest way to use those scales, and don't make the crowd feel awkward. They're going to enjoy that. That's why I'm always be around. Brilliant. Back to Dorian, Mixolydian, back to his C major. So right here in the beginning of the song, he shows us how you can be smart with the use of your knowledge with the Greek modes, but at the same time be pleasant for people to hear. So write your music. The first tip I give to students who want to write music is, start singing whatever you wanna play, because as musicians we are very biased to our instrument. So if I grab a guitar, I'm gonna write something that my fingers are telling me to write most often. If I write when I sing, I usually create stuff that my fingers are not used to. So now I gotta figure out how to play that. That's when I play. That's an odd line to be played because I was thinking about, and I create to myself, I produce myself, and then I had to teach myself how to play that line. So start to sing what you want to play, because what comes from your mind and your heart is more often be better for the listener than what it comes from you from your fingers. They're gonna listen to whatever you're singing. I have a song that I wrote. You don't have morning report there, right? I wrote that song when I woke up. I have the voice note of that song. And because I'm very familiar with the chords, arpeggios, and melodies. You have that? No? No, it's okay. Um, um, when I wrote the melody, and I already know the chord patterns I want to do. So the song does bam 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 ba 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 da bam bam ba da bam bam ba da bam 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 ba da bam bam ba da. Remember the beat? Break it right here. Yeah. So when I wrote that song, I already knew where I was going, where I want to go. So this song, in that short amount of time, it changes the key 3 times. We changed that key 3 times. I wrote. This is clearly a G major way to approach. And then I do a walk up to C, and I land on E flat. I didn't call for that D flat. So right now in the key of B flat. It's still B flat. Then I go back to G major. Back to B flat. Now we're gonna change the key to C. Back to B flat. Back to G. But I always try to make in a way that you guys don't feel awkward with all those key changes. I change the key all the time on that song, and you can barely notice. When I go to the B section, I write a whole part that's fully relaxed. We barely change the key, and then we go back to that tension of the song. Let me play that A section for you guys to understand one more time. 1 and 2, full in. 1, 2. B flat, G major, B flat. Now we go to C major. Back to B flat, back to G. Let's try the B section. So C, B flat, go to B flat again. Line. And right here. So I changed the key on this song many times, but my goal was always, I want to make music for musicians to have a good time, but I also want them to bring their friends, their parents, their girlfriends or boyfriends. And if those people are not musicians, I want them to have a good time too. So how do you do that? You write music that it's easy for you guys to communicate. That does not mean that it needs to be simple. Like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, they play some of the most complicated music you can think of, but it's pleasable. They are so genius. Herbie Hancock, Stevie Wonder, Chick Corea. You can take your girlfriend or boyfriend to any of these shows, They're gonna love it. If they love music, they're gonna love it because those people they understand how to connect with the audience and uh, how to speak through their music and through their instruments. And that's one of the last things I want to talk about. Make sure you understand that this instrument and you needs to be one. We all in that path of make sure you can say through here exactly what you want to say here. That's why we don't play scales when we improvise. Scales are words. You got to use these words to create phrases, to communicate something, to say something. That's important because you know how to play a scale like at a light speed. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you're making music effectively. Create a way to communicate, slow or fast. Communicate your message is the most important thing. That's one of the things that just practice is going to bring it to you guys. Practice, be out, try to play with other musicians. It's very important to play with musicians of all levels, but especially with better musicians than you. All these musicians are way better than me. So why I do that? Because then they push me to be better. I can't be lazy with these guys because otherwise nobody's going to hear what I'm trying to say or talk because they're so good. Surround yourself with people better than you because those people are going to help you become better. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I ask questions to these guys till this day. Like, yo, what was that you did? That's how we grow. Don't be afraid. Put your ego aside. Don't be afraid to ask, how do I do that? What kind of guitar was that? What tone? How did you figure out how to do that tone? Those simple actions are gonna take your knowledge, your level so high. Just on being a nice person slash musician, asking questions. Surround yourself with better musicians. Be nice with the musicians who know less than you. Because I'm an artist and I'm a music producer too. I've been in the studio countless times with musicians who had way less knowledge than I had. And they did something that I was like, whoa, what was that? Oh, I don't know, I just made that up at home. I was like, this is beautiful, let's record that. You record it because I don't know how to do it. It don't matter, you don't know where the knowledge is coming from. Be nice to the musicians that know little less than you. Be extra nice with the ones who know more than you because they can whoop you. And with that, you create this path of growth. And other than that, everything this school is teaching you guys, it's already right there. You guys learning the scales, the chords, the modes, the substitutions. Focus on learning harmony, not just melody. Harmony is important to take your melodies to the next level. My favorite things to use are the melodic minor and the whole tones. Those are my two favorites when I'm trying to be bougie, but I'm usually not bougie, not like these guys. Focus on the knowledge and go out to play. Staying just here, it's amazing, but you won't help when you get out of here. Go play out, create a band, become a music director. Because if you do one music direction, like you get your band with your friends and say, I'm going to organize everything. I'm going to be the music director. I promise you that's going to help you become a better musician. Because then you're going to understand where your music director is coming from when you are just a musician. I tell everybody, become an artist, become a music director, and produce a song. That's going to open your mind because you're going to be more patient with the music director and you're going to make a bigger effort to understand when he says something like, bring me something I don't know I need. That blew my mind. Now I use that with my people. I used to write my songs and send to them bass lines, drum lines, all the melodies up. Now what I do is I send the melody, a chord chart, and I say, bring me something with this. Let's feel how we can create something with this because they're great. So when I send to them all the work done, I may be priving myself of them bringing their genius side of it and make my music go from here to here. So work with people, ask for them input, ask what they think, and try to be nice, okay? I have a little time to talk about the Donner family, and if you guys have any questions. Today we're playing this Stratocaster, they sent it to me. So just to make it clear, uh, their focus is like beginners and intermediate level musicians. That being said, I have a good time playing this guitar. I took it to my guitar tech to set up the way I like, and they sent me this stump box called the Arena 2000. And I'm not a big fan of stump boxes. I only use when I go on tour because on tour sometimes it can be difficult to bring pedals. If one cable in the middle of the whole chain is off, it takes you forever to figure out. So I go usually on tour with stump boxes. And I was like, let me try. And I actually was able to easily make some sounds that I actually like. I'm a full analog guy usually. And the way I was able to do it was I always focus on the tone of the guitar, and if the guitar doesn't have the tone I want, I fix the tone first, and then I create the overdrives and delays and everything. For example, for this guitar tone right here, I noticed that it kind of sounds like an analog pedal. And I noticed that the sustain wasn't there, so what I did, I cheat and I put just the tail of the delay there, so you sustain a little more. And the delay does the rest. It sounds, for my taste, it sounds pretty good. Of course, because we have an amp here, I deactivate the amp on it, so I'm basically using it as pedals, the delays, distortions, and everything. One of the tones that I got quite impressive with is one of my favorite things to play is a filter. I judge myself a very decent filter player, and it's a pretty cool filter, and especially when you play in a scenario like this, it really can feel the bigger spectrum that you're trying to portray yourself. Can we just play the Spankies real quick? Two, I got started. So we do. Right here. So it puts itself like right there on that spectrum that I really like, which is very tricky with filters because they usually too high for me or too low, and they mess with the bass and the kick. So I found this one quite impressive, and I like also the expression on the tube screamer with a little bit of the delay. Sounds very kind of John Mayer kind of vibes, you know. You know, I was actually, to be very honest, I had my doubts. I was like, let me work with it, and then I got quite impressive. And the best thing for me when you guys start to travel, working, is that we always need a backup. We always need a backup. If your pedal board or something goes wrong with it, if I have this guy right here on my backpack, or if which happened to me already, your baggage goes to somewhere else, and you don't have your pedals with you, I always travel with one of my guitars with me, and this guy right here can be in the back of the guitar, or my backpack. It's super small, it's compact, I found, even for me, I'm a dummy for technological stuff. I found very easy to maneuver and to get like some decent, good sounds. it sounded very analog for me. So I appreciate the Donner family for all the love sending me these guitars. They have a bunch of different kinds of guitars. I'm mainly a Stratocaster guy, and the I can highly recommend this Stumbox to do small gigs around town. Like just come with your, we have to drive everywhere in LA, so just put that on your bag with your cables, and you're ready to go. Okay. So now I supposed to ask if you guys have any questions. If you guys have any questions for me right now, that's the moment. Otherwise, we are family. Anybody has anything to ask about how to portray to put yourself in a position of being a sideman, playing for artists, being an artist, or anything technical about the presentation? Okay. That's a great question. That's a great question. It's the line is very fine. It's very thin because as a musician, I feel I'm never prepared till this day. I get really nervous when I play my show. When I play for artists, I don't get nervous at all. It doesn't matter how big the artist is. But when I play my show, I get really nervous. When I play with my friends, a lot of times I feel I'm not worth it to be on the stage with these musicians because they're so amazing. I understand your fear. In my opinion, the goal is understanding the environment. If you don't feel that you're fully ready yet, I will try to find jam sessions with not so many pro musicians. Like with your friends, create a jam session with your friends and you all go and play. You guys know what you guys are studying because that's going to make you feel comfortable around people when you don't know a song. Oh, I don't know what song it is. We're going to figure out we're going to jam. Let me put myself in my position here. I'm going to listen and try to present myself in a better way. Because one of the trickiest things is if you go to a jam session with a bunch of pros and you're actually not ready, sometimes it takes also just one shot for people, oh no, he can't play. And that's a big problem when you have that tag on you. Like, oh, he cannot play. For you to take that back, you will have to play like 3 or 4 times more than the normal. You will have to overprove yourself. So what I would do is I will find jam sessions that don't have a lot of pro musicians. Create a jam session with your friends or figure out if you have a friend who has a jam session and try to apply all those things that we talk here today. Try to listen to it. Even on pro sessions, most musicians don't listen to it. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's going to be like, ugh, what I'm doing here, okay? And we've been there all the time. So your goal is trying to evolve yourself. So when everybody's overplaying, you playing last. When it's your time to kill, you kill and you put your all there, all the scales, all the chords, everything. When you're done, pull back somebody else's time. Whoever is a professional on that, that's going to be listening there is going to say that guy knows what's up. That's the important thing. But yeah, be careful on not being on places that is too much for you. That's very, very important. I've been into those places and I was called out on the moment, and I was like, oh, got my stuff, went home, went back to practice. Okay, so be careful with that. Find a jam session. There's a bunch of jam sessions in town. I'm pretty sure MI has some places that you guys play. But be careful with that. When you feel like I'm comfortable playing my fundamentals, I know the scales, I know the chords, I know the arpeggios. I know how to figure out how to be in a situation. I know how to listen. I think I can go give it a shot. That's my advice for you, okay? Anybody else? Brick modes? Uh-huh. Chameleon, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so for Chameleon is that's coming, right? So that's right? D minor to G. So that song is a clear example of what I was telling you. You can choose a easy path, which will be like one uh, chord scale related thing that you can use, which will be D Dorian, C major, G mixolydian. They're all the same. Or you can apply the other stuff we talk about. All the other stuff. For example, if you're doing the can we play that groove? Oh. Uh, First thing I will try to do is the substitution of the arpeggios, okay? So if you think about D Dorian, play a E minor. First substitution that already jumps you out of the bed, you know? Now I go to A minor. A minor. We also have B half diminished right there, which makes it super cool. C major. I can also use right here, which we didn't talk today, D melodic minor. That one's really helpful in these situations. So this is I'm just using the substitutions on every single mode I was using. So you said D Dorian, okay? Are you using like all the arpeggios on that chord progression, or you just play the scale of D Dorian? I always advise to use arpeggios better than scales, because arpeggios usually talk to each other in intervals of thirds. The scales, they talk in second. Okay, so it's instead of right there, you're already creating a melody easier. So I would advise you to get that D Dorian and work on all the chords that come with that scale, like I did right now. That by itself, it's already gonna help, because you have the D major, D minor, E minor, F major 7, G7, A minor, B half diminished. Those things already help with taking the ideas out. That attached with move your melodies in step and a half, like I was doing, like Herbie's tip. Incorporate the melodic minor on your game, because the melodic minor comes with a different range of chords. Well, for example, on the melodic minor, we have that D melodic minor. For example, we have that beautiful F major sharp 5 that makes everything. Can we play that groove again? 1, 2. and break it. So chords of the Dorian mode you're talking about, and apply the D melodic minor, because on that D melodic minor you have that G7 that the song is asking for. You have that D7, and it makes it even more pretty because that G7 has also a sharp 11 because of the. Okay, everybody here is familiar with the D melodic minor? Who is not? Who is not? Everybody cool? So we know that is, right? That's all you need. That's all you need right there. It has the D minor and the G dominant, okay? Did I answer your question, friend? Yeah? Okay. Anybody else? Uh-huh. Okay, if I understand well, you asking if you can feel and hear before you play, because the discrepancy of the chords. Is that what it is? Because how different they are? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just about you getting familiar with those movements. So you gotta exercise. For example, you're talking about E minor, and then I play a F sharp minor, right? So check this. F sharp minor 7 has your E, which is the note we're playing, has a 9 right here, which is the F sharp. We have an 11, which is A, okay? We have the 6 right here on the top, which is the C sharp, and back to the E, which is the main note we're talking. So it's all about you getting familiar with that, because as we were talking about, when he played, he was doing that all the time. When I listen to it, I know what it is. So what you're talking about is just about keep practicing and getting familiar with that sound. You gotta practice to the point that when I play this, you know where I'm going. When I play this, you play the F sharp. I know that sound, so I match the chord with you, or vice versa. So it's just playing and playing, but playing with attention and intention. Playing with the attention of what you are playing to get familiar with the sound, and the intention of it. Oh, I want it to sound like that. Okay, so it's just about playing. You got to play and play to get familiar with it. Pick like a few ones and keep applying those sounds, and they're going to be on your mind. So now I know where I'm going to go, and it's going to be part of your game. Okay? Anybody else? We good? Thank you so much for having me here, guys. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys and share a little bit of what I know. Clap your hands, please, for these gentlemen here. We have a little bit of time. No questions. We done? Where are my bosses here tonight? Oh, we can play a song. Let's do the morning, because you remember that one. Yeah, let's do that one. Let me just move this. I had a lot more stuff to talk to you guys about. That's why I asked for a keyboard, but we won't have time. So let me play a song, and we're done. Check it out. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for